Well, the coldest Arctic air this late in the season continues to hover over much of the country. Good afternoon and welcome to Weather Center, sponsored by Budgetel Inns. I'm Janetta Jones.
And I'm Mike Motley. Once again, several areas in the Midwest and the Southeast saw record low temperatures this morning. We're going to go and show you some of the areas. Frigid temperatures in Omaha, Nebraska didn't keep the kids away from going to school today. Children braved temperatures in single digits as they walked to class. It's not going to get much better this afternoon. South winds will help to warm up a bit, but only into the upper teens as the kids enjoy the snow on their way home. Now we'll look at what's going on the forecast map, the current weather map, and we'll show you. We're seeing high pressure dominating the central section of the country, still responsible for this cold Arctic air around the midsection of the United States. It will continue to do so for tonight. Another cold one on tap. It will slowly drift towards the east, and we'll see a little bit of a warm-up starting more so tomorrow and for the weekend in the parts of the southeast. Still some lake effect snows continuing in the parts of the northeast. We get the satellite map into motion. You're seeing the somewhat clearer skies in the southeast thanks to high pressure slowly moving in towards the west. We're seeing clouds with that front bringing some moisture into California. Janetta will tell you more about that a little bit later. We're looking again at some freeze warnings for Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and much of northern Florida. The very cold weather continuing to cause problems for farmers and for the fruit crops there. Current temperatures down into 55 down to Tampa, Florida, 66 at Miami. We're at 26 in Chicago, 23 in Boston. Into the west, 75 in Los Angeles, San Francisco, 59, 63 in Seattle, Washington. Current wind chills are on the chilly side, minus 13. It feels like that in Des Moines, Iowa, minus 3 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and minus 7 over in Lincoln, Nebraska. The change over the last 24 hours, we've seen how much warmer it is into the plains thanks to that counterclockwise flow around that high pressure, bringing warmer southwest winds into the west, but still cold into the southeast. We'll show you some video from Tampa, Florida, where it should be warm this time of the year, but it's definitely not on the warm side as the folks are down there trying to get their tan on the beach. Temperatures into the 50s, so they had to bundle up. Not a great day to try to wear a bikini or some Speedos. Not a good idea on this Thursday. The cold weather will continue in Tampa for the next night or so, and things will slowly get better for the weekend. Now looking at record lows, we'll move on and show you those record lows. Not in Tampa, but Jacksonville hit 33, very cold there, and much into the southeast and parts of the plains saw some record lows. We'll show you those. Lincoln, Nebraska, minus 15 this morning. Omaha, Nebraska, minus 11. That's a record tie. Cincinnati, Ohio, 7 degrees at Fountain Square in downtown. Other record lows, Louisville at 10, Nashville at 15, Atlanta at 19, and Jacksonville, Florida, 33 degrees. Wondering were there any record highs? Yeah, there were some. We were looking at Seattle, Washington, hit 66. That's nice in the Emerald City for this time of the year. Let's look at your precipitation outlook. Any more snow or rain? Here's Janetta Jones.
Thanks a lot, Mike. A short-lived dry spell is over for parts of California as a front approaches the west coast. And let's check it out for you right now. You can see that moisture starting to feed on into California once again. Hopefully we are not going to get the heavy downpours in California that we have been seeing. But the clouds certainly are arriving, and we will see rain moving on through San Francisco Bay. In the northeast, we've got a little system moving through here, and that has been giving way to some light snow showers in places like New Hampshire and Connecticut and even into Massachusetts. And that lake effect snow is still occurring, that northwesterly wind, cold wind over the warmer waters, giving us the possibility of lake effect snow. In some of those lake effect prone areas, we could pick up about 3 to 6 inches of snow. And you know those areas, don't you? And a little bit of snow in lower Michigan, 1 to 3 inch accumulations expected here. But the trough is moving on through. The snow should be letting up a little bit later on. Into the upper Midwest, not a whole lot happening here today, but something is going to occur as this high starts to shift more towards the east. We're going to get a southwesterly flow of wind into Iowa and Minnesota and Missouri, and so that's going to really warm things up for you. And that's a good sign. That's a nice thing to know. Some good news, certainly. And that same high is going to be sitting right on top of you across the southeast, so some radiational cooling going to take place and give us a very cold night here. That high has a clockwise flow of wind around it, so that's pulling in the moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico and giving you some rain showers in parts of southern Texas. So keep the umbrella handy here. You may in fact need it from anywhere from Houston to Austin to San Antonio on back towards Brownsville. There we have our frontal boundary moving on into the western seaboard, and it is giving way to some light rain showers from San Francisco Bay on northward into Ukiah and Eureka. Now, the heavier rainfall amounts have been around Ukiah and Eureka, but we are anticipating some rain to move on into San Francisco, and we could see ½ an inch to an inch of rain before all is said and done. So there's our front moving on in. Looks like Los Angeles will see some rain by tomorrow morning. And speaking of the forecast, let's check it out with Mike.
Okay, Jeanette, look at what's happening this evening around the country. High pressure slowly drifting towards the east over parts of Kentucky and Tennessee as it moves towards the east. Some clear skies and another cold one once again. The west, we're seeing more of the showers Jeanette talked about coming onshore into California. For tomorrow morning, your drive in, it looks like a pretty quiet day around much of the country. We'll see some lake effect snows with this frontal boundary moving around Duluth, Minnesota, and some close to Chicago. And on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, you'll see some more lake effect snows there towards Benton Harbor and moving in towards Lansing and Kalamazoo. Into the west, this front makes its way towards the California Sierra Nevada mountain range, bringing a little snow there and some rain in the valleys for tomorrow.
The coldest Arctic air we've seen this season in some places continues to hover over much of the nation. Good afternoon and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Jill Brown.
And I'm Bob Stokes. Good afternoon. Once again, several areas in the Midwest and Southeast saw record low temperatures this morning. The freezing temperatures in Omaha didn't keep the kids from going to school today. Children braved temperatures in the single digits as they walked to class. Man, look at that snow. It's not going to get much better this afternoon. South winds will help to warm you up a bit, but only into the upper teens. Now, these kids will have a story to tell their children. You know the story. When I was young, I had to walk 2 miles in rain and snow. Well, they can relay that story too, because in Omaha, look how cold it was last night. 35 degrees below the average for this time of the year. You're bouncing back today, though. You're getting closer to normal as that southwesterly wind comes in. Also, some record warmth today in the northwest. Last night, it was 15 degrees above the average in Seattle. But here's some records. In Lincoln, minus 15 was the low. Sioux City, Iowa, minus 14. In Omaha, you had a record low of minus 11. And this star means that's the coldest temperature ever for this late in the season. Norfolk, Nebraska, minus 9. Lexington, Kentucky, 9. And even in the deep south, record lows. Atlanta, Georgia, 19. Jackson, Mississippi, 23. And even along the Gulf Coast, 27 in Mobile. Now here's a look at the changes during the past 24 hours. Now, with that southwesterly flow coming in, by the way, it's the same high that brought the cold temperatures in the first place, which is bringing in the southwesterly flow. Temperatures are 30 degrees warmer now in Dodge City, Kansas than they were 24 hours ago, and Lincoln, Nebraska, 17 degrees warmer. We'll welcome that in the plains. And even in Seattle, you had a record high today, 66 degrees, thanks to southerly winds that have brought that warmer air in. That occurred today. And here's a look at the current temperatures. 65 in Seattle, only a degree away from that record. 58 in San Francisco. And even though with the southwesterly winds, because the air is still pretty cool, you're still seeing some significant wind chills, but the air temperature is 26 in Lincoln, 15 in Des Moines, Iowa, and pretty chilly in Atlanta at 38, but the sunshine helped out today for many of you. How about the wind chills? Here we go. Feels like minus 11 in Des Moines with that southerly wind coming in, which will eventually warm you up as time goes on over the next couple of days. Minus 7 right now is how it feels on your exposed skin in Lincoln and Nebraska, and 10 degrees in Detroit. Here's a look at our current weather. I want to show you the system which has brought all this cold air. It's this Arctic high. It was centered over the plains last night. Now it's moving toward the southeast, and on the clockwise flow, there's the moisture, and then there's that warmer air coming in on this side of it, but still a strong northwesterly wind here keeping you chilly in the northeast. But Florida, you've been feeling the effects of that high pressure area. Let's take a look at Florida and the influence of this high. In fact, in Tampa, tourists who have traveled to the Sunshine State to get away from the cold are disappointed. You had to bundle up if you were taking a stroll on the beach in Tampa today. Temperatures only in the mid-50s, which is cold for this time of the year in Florida. It's about 20 degrees below the average. As a matter of fact, we do have, there's some wet weather there, but I wanted to show you a look at the freeze warnings in effect right here across the southeast. So please be mindful, strawberry and peach farmers, I'm sure you're very much aware of that, but north of the citrus crop generally. Now we're going to show you some precipitation here in a moment with Jill.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Yes, that short-lived dry spell is over for parts of California as a front approaches the west coast. As a matter of fact, as you just saw, there it is, San Francisco. It is coming down now. It was nice and dry when you left this morning, but hopefully you had an idea of what was coming and brought your umbrella with you, because this is fairly moderate rain. This isn't the sprinkle kind of thing that you don't mind walking through. It is raining a little heavier as you get over toward Oakland and up toward Santa Rosa and up toward Ukiah. Interstate 5 basically still dry now. That's going to change pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, once this band heads inland, we'll also see a fair amount of snow. South of San Francisco, the rain is trying to get in towards Santa Barbara, but it doesn't look like it's going to make it down to LA, San Diego, Palm Springs, probably until late this evening or overnight, and you may wake up to rain in the morning. And to the north, it's going to be scattered a little bit lighter here, a few showers. Once again, Interstate 5 getting a little bit wet. You can see our area of low pressure right about on the Oregon-California state line, and as we go through the nighttime hours, that rain is going to head farther south. Our low will dive farther south. And the satellite picture here shows, obviously, we're ending the day basically with sunny skies in Southern California. So you lucked out. One more dry day. Very nice weather. Temperatures have been mild. The rain won't last long. This is about a 24-hour event. Today to the north and central part of the state, tomorrow to the south. So not too bad. Look at this in the northeast. Now you can see our one band of clouds, head of a trough, came through. And that did bring a little bit of snow to Cape Cod. Otherwise, you can see the flow here from the west-northwest, all that moisture being picked up from the lakes, and of course, it's lake effect snow that we have gotten through here. Buffalo over towards Syracuse, and actually over into southern New England, we've had a bit of snow as well. In Salem, New Hampshire, a little bit snowy. In a few spots we ended up having just bursts of snow. Derry, New Hampshire, take that back. Some heavy snow brought some problems along with it, some accidents, of course, on the roads. It never takes very much. Sometimes it's those days with just a few tiny little slick spots that you end up with the biggest problems. So we'll advise you through the rest of this evening once again that even if you have just light snow in your area,